Caroline and Mark had been married for 10 years. They had met in college and had fallen in love quickly. They had been through thick and thin, supporting each other through difficult times and enjoying the good times together. They had 2 beautiful children and a lovely home, and on the surface, everything seemed perfect. But beneath the surface, Caroline was struggling. She was tired of feeling unappreciated and neglected by Mark, who had become increasingly focused on his work and less interested in spending time with her. She found herself feeling lonely and isolated, and she began to wonder if there was something missing in their relationship. One day, Caroline met a man named David at a coffee shop. He was charming and handsome, and he seemed genuinely interested in her. They struck up a conversation, and Caroline found herself opening up to him in a way she had never done with Mark. They exchanged phone numbers and began texting each other regularly. At first, Caroline didn't think much of it. She enjoyed the attention and the excitement of having a new connection with someone. But as time went on, she found herself becoming more and more drawn to David. They began meeting up in secret, going on dates and talking for hours on end. Caroline felt alive and desired in a way she hadn't felt in years. But the guilt began to weigh heavily on her. She knew what she was doing was wrong, and she felt terrible about betraying Mark's trust. She tried to end things with David, but he was persistent, and she found it difficult to resist his advances. Meanwhile, Mark was becoming increasingly suspicious of Caroline's behavior. He noticed that she was spending more time on her phone and seemed distant and distracted when they were together. He confronted her about it, but she denied that anything was wrong. One day, Mark decided to follow Caroline and see where she was going. He watched from a distance as she met up with David and embraced him. His heart sank as he realized what was happening. Mark was devastated. He had never suspected that Caroline would cheat on him, and he felt betrayed and hurt. He confronted her, and she tearfully admitted to everything. She told him that she had been feeling neglected and unappreciated, and that she had found something in David that she felt was missing in their marriage. Mark was crushed, but he still loved Caroline and wanted to work things out. They went to counseling and tried to rebuild their relationship, but the trust had been broken, and things were never the same between them. Caroline ended things with David, but the damage had already been done. In the end, Caroline realized that her actions had hurt not only Mark, but also their children and their entire family. She felt ashamed of what she had done, and she knew that it would take a long time to earn back Mark's trust. But she was determined to do whatever it took to save their marriage and their family. The story of Caroline and Mark's infidelity is a cautionary tale about the dangers of neglecting your partner and the consequences of betraying someone's trust. It serves as a reminder that even the strongest relationships can be tested by temptation, and that forgiveness and love can be powerful tools in overcoming even the most devastating betrayals. It all started with a gut feeling. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off with my husband, Alex. He had been distant lately, and I couldn't help but feel like he was hiding something from me. I tried talking to him about it, but he always brushed it off, saying that he was just stressed from work. One day, I decided to surprise him at his office with lunch. As I walked into the building, I saw him through the glass walls of his conference room. He was laughing and flirting with a young woman who I immediately recognized as the waitress from our favorite restaurant. My heart sank as I watched them together, my mind racing with the possibilities of what could be going on. That night, I confronted Alex about what I saw. At first, he denied anything was going on, saying that he was just being friendly with a waitress. But as I pressed him for answers, he finally admitted that he had been seeing her behind my back for months. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that the man I had loved and trusted for years could betray me like this. I felt angry, hurt, and completely alone. I didn't know what to do or where to turn. Over the next few weeks, I struggled to come to terms with what had happened. I couldn't eat or sleep, and every time I looked at Alex, I felt a deep sense of betrayal. But eventually, I decided that I couldn't let this one mistake define our entire relationship. I convinced Alex to come to couples therapy with me, and slowly but surely, we began to rebuild our relationship. It wasn't easy. There were tears, fights, and many sleepless nights. But through it all, we held on to our love for each other and our commitment to making things work. Eventually, Alex quit his job and we moved to a new city to start fresh. It wasn't easy, but we made it through together. Today, we are happier and stronger than ever before. Our love was tested, but it never faltered. Looking back on that difficult time, I can say that I'm grateful for what we went through. It taught us that love isn't always easy, but it's always worth fighting for. And even though Alex made a mistake, it doesn't define who he is as a person or our relationship. In the end, I learned that forgiveness and redemption are possible, even after the most heartbreaking of betrayals.